Don't you just love the Tennessee pines? Let's get to work. And by the way, I'm always trying to figure out, is this selfie stick a good thing or not? I don't know, because so many times I just hold the phone anyway. But maybe it's for the best. I just want to make sure you can hear me okay. It's just that at the same time, like if I hold it more like this, you're going to see a more realistic version of what I look like as far as how the real world sees me, and not this, you know what I'm saying? I'm just trying to make this the most realistic, because it is, like when I hit my head on trees. So not all of my comments come from my YouTube channel. Sometimes people will send me a message or an email or something like that. And so I got one from a guy named Austin, and he's from Belfast, Maine, which my wife and I, on our honeymoon 9 years ago, we traveled New England, and we went to Kennebuckport, Maine. So big fan of Maine. So shout out to all my subscribers, all 3 of you from Maine. Maine is a wonderful, magnificent, beautiful, naturous state. But here's what Austin was asking me. He said, at what age did you realize you were balding, and how did you react to it? That's his question, and I think that's a very relevant, pertinent question that I should answer. At what age did I realize I was balding, and how did I react to it? I'm going to say by default, 30. I mean, I remember my 30th birthday. I remember getting dressed that day, looking in the mirror, and noticing how I could actually see my scalp through my hairline up here. And I'd never noticed that or seen that before. And a couple months later, too, I remember how my wife was walking behind me, and she saw on the couch, she saw my crown, and she said, man, I gotta tell you, no matter how thick your hair is on top and how long your hair is, it's definitely thinner in the back. I remember she said that, and that was, 6 years ago when I was 30. So that was the time when I was realizing it, and my wife had said that, which is funny now, because she just laughs about the fact that we're making money from hair loss videos, because she doesn't see my hair loss at all anymore. That was the only time she ever really noticed that. But then there's the whole thing about, is my hair loss not, is the oil working? And maybe it is back there. So we'll just have to figure this thing out. But I was 30 when I really thought, you know what, this is beyond a receding hairline. I'm actually in the balding process. Because I feel like that's what I've learned too. Hairline's one thing. And that's why when I was younger, I always thought, when I get older, I'll have a receding hairline. And then my hairline started receding, and I was like, okay, well, this is what I expected, but this isn't that bad. But the thinning is really what the issue is. So to answer your question, I was 30, and then the follow-up question was, how did I react to it? I reacted to it. I don't guess I did react to it. Is a funny thing about it, because I say even now at 36, I never expected to have this much hair. Honestly, it was the same thing at 30. I was just lucky to still have that much hair at 30. I thought, you know what? If this is where it ends, if this is the end of my hair, starting at age 30, I'm okay with that. I was married for a couple years. I already, my first son, my first child was born at that point. I was okay with it. And I spent the first part of my 20s kind of worried about, oh no, when this happened. But I don't know. By the time it happened at 30, I just didn't care anymore. So, I mean, I've been not caring about my hair for 6 years solid. That's what's funny is, you just helped me realize some irony that I did not know. See, this is a character arc. I really do learn from making these videos. What I've learned today in this exact moment is that when I stopped caring about my hair loss is when I actually started losing my hair. Yeah. I stopped caring when it actually happened. Let me say that out loud again so that we all process it. I finally stopped caring and worrying about hair loss the moment I actually started losing my hair. Because when I was going from Norwood 1 to Norwood 2 in my early 20s, I thought, that sounds about right. But I wasn't losing my hair. It was just a changing hairline. But then finally, it happened at 30, and that's the year I just didn't think about it anymore, because I was like, okay, it's arrived. That's cool. Next. So yeah, that's very interesting. And I think it kind of backs up my whole theory about why I'm so focused on, you know, accepting my fate and almost inviting hair loss. Come get me. Let's do this thing. You know, this follicle death wish, I think as Robert put it. Because that's been my experience. When it finally happened, I stopped worrying about it and caring about it to any degree because it had already arrived. So it goes back to how I think and how I'm wired to think. You give something power when you dwell on it all the time like that, as far as kind of a fear or worry. But especially when you're actually starting to live it and see it happen, you're like, okay, this is it. Now I can have a new set of priorities to wonder and worry about, which is funny because that was the time when, you know, we had a newborn and I was learning how to be a parent, you know, and now I'm on my second kid. So I'm in a different place altogether. So I was 30. My reaction was basically, I think it helped me stop caring at all about my hairline at that point, or my hair loss. So yeah, isn't that the opposite of probably what people thought I would say? You know, how old were you? You know, I was whatever age. Well, how'd you react? I freaked out about it. You know, no, I was the complete opposite. Now, I will say though, that 2 years ago when I started making these videos, I think it's in part my way of unpacking maybe how I had felt all those years about it subconsciously. And of course, even now, I've just had a revelation in this video. So it still helps just to unpack that, but it's not a hurdle in my life anymore. It's like can we call it a traumatic event? When you go through any kind of traumatic event of any kind, like there's that reaction that you get through it. Like even something like a grandparent that was close to you passing away. Like my Mexican grandmother passed away last fall, you know? And it's like, I get through it, but at the same time, like months and years to follow, you continue to realize, okay, this is how I dealt with it and this is what I was thinking. Because sometimes when you're going through something like that, you don't consciously think through it. You're in survival mode to get through it. And I was in survival mode once I started for my hair loss, and now here's the death wish for my hair, and it's still here. That was a very good question. Thank you for asking that. All the way from Maine.